Hello and welcome to our second session of 13th Age, Shards of the Broken Sky, which is a sort of campaign sandbox adventure from Pelgrane for the 13th Age role-playing game. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. If you hear us referring to the tools or the map or anything like that, we are playing using Roll20 for the maps and tokens and roller. Why am I not using the video in Roll20? Because the video in Roll20 has never worked for me. I've been a pro subscriber since the beginning, and I still can't get it to work for me. I hope it does.
It's also
someday.
hard. It's also really hard to record.
Yeah, it's also you have to do the X split and pay for that and all kinds of stuff. But that's at least in my way. Yes.
Long ago, the Roll20 video integration worked great and audio worked great because it was tied into Google. And then Google changed their API and they couldn't do it anymore. I know this because I did a Kickstarter for the little company that had the Google integration stuff that Roll20 bought.
Oh, wow.
So I got picked up and sucked into the Roll20 stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty nice. And then all of a sudden, all their video and audio stuff went away, and I was like, oh no.
That is tough. It's tough when you harness your yoke to a company like Google. So our characters are in the valley, Redfield Valley, two parallel cities on either side of the valley, Appleton and Crown Hill. We had our PCs meeting with people there, finding out about stuff, going over their connections and so on. And at the end of last session, they heard about a problem that we are going to kind of hard frame us forward a little bit to the group going and dealing with the problem, helping out with the issue. But before we get too much further, what I'd like to do is have everybody, I want to just have us, we won't do this every session, but I want to do it since the second session, give a quick overview of their character. I also want to ask everybody what they've taken as their incremental advance. What is it you wanted to take? You get one incremental that you can add something to your character. And then we're also going to do icon rolls for everybody. So I'm going to go here and let us start with Felnor. Felnor, give us the elevator pitch on yourself.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So Felnor is well, I'm Darren and Felnor are both he, him.
Okay, thank you.
And Felnor is a fighter. He mainly looks like a half elf, but he's actually a sort of a Frankenstein's monster. In reality, somebody used electrical magic instead of necromancy to get a bunch of parts sewn together to work again. And he has sort of risen up against his master and left to go do some adventuring.
And what did you think you wanted to take for your incremental today?
Let's see here. Sorry, I do get a new maneuver for second level. So, you know what though? Actually, I think for now I am just going to take skill rolls.
Okay. So what that means is normally when we do skill rolls, it's your stat bonus plus your level bonus, which means that you'll read all your skill rolls as if you were level 3 then. And let's take a look at your icon roll, shall we?
Oh, sure.
You have icon relationships with Lich King 3 and the Priestess, it looks like, right?
Yep.
Okay, so why don't you roll a d6 for the Lich King, which never sounds great. It's a 2. How about a d6 for the 3?
Oh,
A
that's
1. And how about for the Priestess? A
6.
6. So you have essentially a boon icon token with the Priestess with no cost. So you can use that boon whenever you want. Again, I've got that sheet that has the some suggestions about that. I'll find that link to that again. And you can also make up stuff. Let's come to our next character, Zalantha.
My name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing Zalantha Fellwind, she, her. Zalantha is a tiefling wizard, and she is, what's unique about her is she became a tiefling. She'd been born human, but she was cursed into this form by her, by attempting to steal secrets she was not meant to know from her former um, from her former like master wizard that she was an apprentice of,
Mhm.
who she found out was actually a demon worshiper. Um, yeah, the incremental advance I took was an additional feat.
Mm.
Um,
What'd you take?
and I'm trying to remember. I'm actually not finding it on my list. I may have to. I think I decided and never actually wrote it down, so I may have to
Dun,
figure
dun,
that out.
dun. I do that
It'll
all the
probably be
time.
one of the. It'll probably be one of the spell feats. I think I'm probably going to take the shield spell feat.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And as talent, she has high arcana and cantrip mastery and Vance's polysyllabic verbalization. So all of her spells are like weird and have weird names, but they more or less do they more or less do a normal effect plus a little something extra. She has a conflicted level 2 relationship with the Diabolist and a positive level 1 relationship with the Archmage. Shall I roll those?
Yeah. So let's say you roll 2 dice first.
So this is for the Diabolist. A 1 and a 4. Nope.
Nothing. And then for the Archmage?
And that's 5.
So you have with cost from the Archmage. Excellent. And that then brings us to our Adwin.
Hi, my name is Steven. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Adwin Duskgrove, whose pronouns are she, her. Adwin is a human ranger, but was raised by the animals of the forest. Her village was attacked and destroyed whenever she was very young, and the High Druid saw to foster her under some awakened animals that were in a large forest. Adwin isn't great at socialization. She doesn't communicate a whole lot with other people, but she communicates a lot with forests and air spirits and animals and trees, that kind of thing. So she mumbles to herself quite a bit, not realizing that that's not a normal thing. And, surely other people understand, the squirrels that are talking. And yeah. She has a wolf named Scruffy
That's right.
that goes along with her. And I wanted to ask about the incremental advance stuff.
Sure.
One of the incremental advance things was a magic item. That's an extra magic item slot.
Yes. Essentially, right now, all of you can carry 2 magic items without the magic items kind of overwhelming you. Once you get past that, then they start to have an influence on you, a negative influence. So taking that advance would allow you to carry 3 items. So at this point early on, not worth taking as an advance.
I didn't really see, so I don't have any powers or spells. I didn't really see much having to do with feats associated with my character. So I think I will probably stick with hit points then.
Okay, that's hit points is a good one. Also keep in mind that you can, if you look at the front, there are some general and racial feats too. You can always take a look and see if any of those are appealing.
I've looked through those. The thing that's appealing to me is whenever we get to a talent level, because as a ranger, I had to choose between archery and melee weapons. The double strike on either of those.
Right.
So but I think that's not at third. I think that's at fourth.
Yeah, I think
Where I
that's
look
the
at that.
next step on
Yep.
that.
So, and
Sorry, go ahead.
whenever you level to whenever you make a level, how many extra hit points do you get? Is it a D8? I'm sorry. Is it your class level?
Yeah, so let me quickly look at the ranger here. Rules. So you will get right now you're getting 7 hit points plus your con mod times 4. At next level, it'll be times 5. Yeah, it's actually level 5 that you get your next class talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is it okay if I point something out?
Yeah.
I think your class talents might you can like empower them with a feat. Some of them.
Oh, I might have to look at that then.
Oh yeah, like let's see.
Oh yes, I think.
Like you could get the adventurer feat on your double ranged attack.
Yeah. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you.
Sorry, I
fine.
want to make sure you knew that.
There's also you can also empower your get a feat for your ranger's pet. The ranger we have in our game has invested all of her feats in that pet. It will get healed before she does. Is the way that she plays that. Let's have you roll 2d6 for your high druid relationship.
Let's see. I got a 2 and a 6.
Okay, so you've got a icon boon with the high druid without cost, and then one more.
That's a 5.
Okay, so you have a icon boon negative relationship with the Diabolist, but with cost. All right. So when we left off last time, it was pounding at the door, and we found out that, I should say something else here. Some wishes that were on the table from last time. Rich has shown me this is the thing to do. Zalantha mentioned interaction with Adwin and opportunity to show off magic abilities. Let's see here. Malin mentioned wanting to see those animal elders again. And Felnor was just keep doing, which is fair. And Stephen mentioned if we do bring those elders on, like showing how they're connected as facets of the high druid. So you were with Gendry in his house. He had just fed you, and that's when the pounding at the door came with the elder who told you that the goblins that had been part of a larger bandit group in the area that had kind of been dealt with. These were some stragglers that had made their way into the Vake Maze, into the forest there. And they apparently captured your uncle, Zalantha, and are holding him for ransom. And they said, he said, I spoke to the Vake Fort people, but they weren't any help to us. And in fact, they don't want people to go into those woods. So they're being particularly stubborn about things. And my my sort of hard framing of this is that you all decided to go to follow up on this, correct? So it is after dark, and I think we see you at the north end of the valley. You see the Vake Fort. It's a fairly impressive fortification, though it hasn't had the greatest upkeep. It's clearly been allowed to portions of it to fall into disrepair, but it is striking that this doesn't seem like a particularly strategically important place, and the fact that at any point they built a fortress like this is unusual. But you'll see some torches atop the walls, and a few guards, like a handful, out and about. And I think that you would have been told that there is a patrol that kind of moves back and forth around the outskirts of the castle, just to make sure that people aren't going up north past the fort. But the elder said, but they kind of are often loose about that. There are a lot of young guards who like go off there to drink or shoot game or whatever. So the question I have for the three of you is, do you want to go and talk to people at the fort? Do you want to move past openly? Do you want to move past a little more secretly, cautiously, I guess I want to say? When the camera comes to the three of you plus a wolf, what do you think that the discussion is like right now? You're doing that thing where it took a second for your voice to come in, Steven.
Okay. If during the last session, I think one of the awakened animals, a panther, sent me to the Vake Fort because they needed an artifact. Is that correct?
What they said was that there is something coming. You met them at Crown Hill, and they said that there is something weird up in that forest and maze that lies north of that.
And to watch for it.
Yeah, watch for it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, Zalantha, you're from this area, so I'm going to come to you. What are you saying?
So as we're approaching the fort, she says, I think the elder is right. I don't think we're going to get very much assistance from the soldiers who work there. Because honestly, this is not the best job, and these are not the best trained. These are not the best trained people. I think we should avoid contact and just go around them, and do our best to not encounter the patrols. I think that's going to be fairly easy, and I think I know a way past them. I'm just going to pose that because I have I have armchair geographer and I grew up around here.
All right, Felnor, Adwin, are you ready to follow suit, or do you have another approach?
Meaning, I don't think we need to engage with anyone. I think going a little bit quieter up into this area so that we can see what's going on might be a good idea.
That sounds like a really good idea, but I'm not quiet. I got like my armor and stuff, and not, yeah. So is there a way I can not mess up your plan?
Well, we can use you as the distraction or bait.
Okay, I'm good at that.
So, Zalantha, I think this is either going to be an intelligence or dexterity roll. Plus, you have a background as a geographer. You want to put that into play?
Yeah, I took armchair. I have like one. I have one rank of armchair geographer just because she's fascinated with maps and has looked
Okay.
at as many maps as she could ever get her hands on.
So intelligence or dexterity, plus your level, plus 1 for that background.
I think this should auto throw my level in. If you click the if you click intelligence, will it roll with your? Will it auto add your level or?
It ought to.
Okay, well let's see what happens. Yes, it
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I got a 13. I got a 13.
13. So I imagine that this is a little slow, but you can find a path that essentially goes east, doesn't get you tangled up. The patrol is maybe a couple of people there strong, and then you can make your way up along this pass that goes into a set of woods. It's a decent forest, relatively untempered in the sense that nobody has cut it or kept it in order. There's probably some wild fruits and things that are on the outskirts there, and then you'll make your way in a ways and start kind of looking around and about. So who is going to be the person who's going to be tracking these goblins? Like which PC is that? Does that feel like Adwin? Okay. So Adwin, this is a wisdom check. What do you have that's an appropriate background for doing this kind of scouting or tracking?
I have a tracker scout skill.
There you go.
Background. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wisdom plus level plus that background.
That's a +6. And I rolled a 17, so that's a 23.
Okay. So the moon is out a little bit, not enough to like cause you problems, but enough to have a little bit of line to see by. And with a 23, we will see you move through those woods quietly. And eventually you will hear some noises up ahead. Kind of pause yourselves, the three of you, and you can smell a little bit of smoke. Somebody's clearly doing a cold camp, like keeping the open flames down. And you will see that there's something like a kind of a road over a kind of overgrown creek. There's some old buildings past that are clearly decayed, like maybe somebody tried to start a stead here years ago and they've kind of fallen down. But there's definitely a group of goblins kind of hiding in and amongst those things. You would guess about 7 of them. And they're clearly not stupid. They're clearly trying to maintain a little bit of cover. But you guys have put yourself in a very good position. I'm in fact, actually, I'm going to put their tokens on the map and then put your tokens, and I'll bring the map up here. get them off of here. Okay, I'm going to swap you over to the map page. So now it should show you the map. Now, with a 23 total, you can kind of decide which approach you would like to go, whether you want to try and like come in from the northern side, whether you want to come down the river, or whether you want to come up kind of from the southern side on these goblins, or something else. Let's, Felnor, how are you feeling about the sitch?
Can we see like how well equipped they are, like armor and weapons and stuff? Or
Yeah. Again, 23 is well beyond what you need to roll to have potentially surprise on them. So they look like they've got sort of scrapped together misc armor. You guess that some of this was older goblin pieces, but they've also clearly, whatever that bandit group that got broken up, they've probably taken bits and pieces from them. So while they have armor, it's not the greatest put together. The blades are real basic, like low metal. You maybe see a whetstone among them. So they're dangerous, but not entirely a huge threat to someone of your skill.
so do we want them to surrender, or what do you guys want to do?
Well, I mean, they're goblins, but I think we need to know where I think we need to know where my uncle is. We don't want to risk them killing him on their escape. At the same time, perhaps if we show a great deal of force, that might cause them to surrender and run.
Oh yeah, but if they run, they might do something to him. Did I understand?
I mean, if we show a great deal of force and we like get them to run, hopefully they'll just run for their lives and leave leave their prisoner behind. Hopefully.
And we don't see him, right?
Yeah, you don't.
Okay.
Like you're kind of looking, there's the cold camp. You're like looking to see if either he is further on, or he's in one of those sort of like they've tucked him away in one of those sort of shacks that are there.
Oh, and I forgot, were other people taken?
Just him. It seems like he was a target of opportunity as he was carrying those leathers to the fort.
Okay. So here's one of my ideas is, I can go in and smash a little bit and then just say, like, you're all gonna get smashed unless you tell me where my friend's uncle is.
And I can,
Adwin,
and
Jonathan?
we can, and I could also, I could also throw some spells at them that would hopefully demoralize them, or at least make them realize there's a spellcaster here that will blast them.
So I have a suggestion, which is, how about if we keep them off their guard and they never really know how many of us there are? I mean, 3 versus 7 doesn't sound great. So what happens if, of course, Felnor goes in via the road, draws their attention, and as they get, engaged with him, Zolantha and I can slip out and attack them, and then after that show of force, whenever we start talking to them, we have to leave one alive if possible, but after that show of force, we can then they'll never know if there's more people hiding in the woods about to come out.
I like it. Let's do that.
So
Okay. So Felnor taking a more straight line across approach is what you're suggesting, and then the other two of you come. Do you want to come both from the north, or do you want to split up and Adwin come from the north and Zalantha from the south, or something like that? You're muted, Mike.
I was unmuted. I clicked to mute myself. Oops. Yeah, I like that. Why doesn't Zalantha approach from the south, and maybe because she's got her spells work from range, so maybe she'll be on the other side of the creek at least to start.
Okay, so I'll move you down there.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly where I was thinking.
Adwin will kind of move you up northern spot.
Mhm.
And Darren kind of charging across the road then. So Felnor, you are going to get a surprise round because you're going to come out of nowhere. But the first thing we're going to do is everybody's going to roll initiative. I have a little turn order thing pulled up, and you can put your initiative in the turn order thing. I need to look what their initiatives are. So I roll 220. Initiative is 19. Okay. Okay. So for this round, this is going to be a surprise round. Felnor's going to go, and then Adwin and Zalantha, and then we'll start again at the start of the following round, at which point the escalation die will be a 1. Okay. Right now, the escalation die is a 0. So tell me what you want to do, Felnor. Where do you want to move to? Who do you want to strike at?
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the north side.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe engage with this guy first.
Okay. So essentially, you see there's a like this goblin. He's got a wolf by him. These are wolf riders. The riders there, so let's have you roll to hit. He has an AC of 18.
Oh wow. Okay. Oops. Oh, maybe I'm not doing this right. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
Got it? (22) versus 18 AC. So you will hit, and you will do 15 points of damage to that rider, which doesn't quite stagger him. Staggering means he's taken half his hit points, but you rush up and get that strike at him, and he'll cry out and fall back and start drawing out his spear and trying to get the spear and get his wolf into the fray.
Oh, okay. How do I tell if it was a even or odd roll?
Oh, so if you hold over the cursor over it, it'll actually show you what you rolled. You rolled a 17.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. So I'm gonna trigger my carving a path.
Ooh, what does that do?
Carve an opening. I'm sorry. Let me double check.
Sure.
So it extends my critical range.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm doing this right though. I'm sorry.
Sure. No, the first couple of fights, everybody's gonna be getting used to their powers and stuff.
Let's see. Yeah, expands by a cumulative +1 until you score a melee critical hit.
Okay.
Triggered on any natural odd roll. When you score a critical hit, your crit range drops back to normal.
Yeah. So right now you're 1920
Okay.
on crits from this point forward, and that'll build up. So that happens. Felnor goes charging up. Adwin, what do you want to do?
Probably just close enough to get within range, and I'm going to start shooting at these goblins down here.
Okay, those goblin wretches are AC 16.
Okay.
And
so
just so you know, they are what is called in this game mooks. And I'll show you what that means in a second.
Yep. So, let's see. I'm going to use my double bow attack, which
Okay.
lowers the die, and I rolled a nat 1.
And that one, so your first shot misses.
And I think I only get a second shot if the first shot was even.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you will take that shot, and it will go wide. Let me ask you this: where is your wolf? Are they?
So my
they
wolf
go
goes
immediately after you in your initiative order always.
Yeah. So my wolf is going to go up next to Felnor and harry the wolf rider.
Okay. The wolf rider's AC is 18, so you may make attack with him.
Okay, so let me see what that was. That's an 18 on the die.
So that'll hit.
Yeah, and the damage for the wolf is, let me look that up. It looks like it's a D10.
D10.
Yeah. That's a 6.
6, 21. So that wolf rider, that pair is staggered now. I mentioned that, and I'll always try to keep track of that because there are some powers that trigger off when people are staggered and things. So we keep track of that. Zalantha, come to you. What do you want to do?
So Zalantha, I think at this point was kind of like hiding behind a tree, and then once she hears her friends like start attacking, she pops out from behind the tree and casts a spell. And she casts this spell, and this like weird, like almost like demonic sigil like appears in front of her, and this almost like this like void opens.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like points at this goblin.
Okay.
And out of this void comes this like white beam that's sparkling with frost.
Okay.
She is casting Boreal Beam of Cocytus. It's Ray Frost. It's Boreal Beam of Cocytus. Cocytus, of course, being the 9th plane of hell, which is where the damned are frozen in ice.
Excellent. Now, is this versus their AC or their PD?
This is versus their PD.
So their PD is only a 14.
Well, I rolled a 5 on the die, so that's only an 11.
Okay, so that will past. Luckily, that was the surprise round.
I have a quick thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, clarification.
Yeah.
On my ranged attack that I rolled a natural 1 on, are there critical fumbles? Number 1.
No.
Okay. Number 2, normally there's damage on a miss, but I assume that's not true for a mook.
There's damage on a miss from melee, unless you have a feat that or ability that gives you damage on a miss from ranged attacks.
So it looked like whenever I looked this attack up, it looked like it had damage on a miss.
Okay.
It was your level. So I'll confirm that as we go through initiative and just to make sure.
Sure. Well, let's record that as 2 points towards the wretches, and I'll keep track of that. All right. Escalation die becomes a 1. We return back to the top of the round. That means that you get a +1 on all of your to hit rolls from on this turn. Adwin, let us come back to you then. Top of the round.
So in this case, I'm going to again shoot at these wretches that are down towards the bottom.
Okay.
See if I can't keep them from harrying us.
All right.
And see if I roll better. That's a 14 on the die. So that should hit.
That does hit.
And this is a D6 worth of damage because it went down a step.
2d6 because you're second level.
2d6. So 4. And so that's a total of 8 points
8 points.
to this first mook.
So this first wretch dies. Essentially you're lofting some arrows over them. The first one dies, and some of that damage carries over onto the second one, because he'd already taken some damage from your miss. So this next one has a little bit of damage on him.
And
you
my
get a
second shot,
right?
My second shot, because it was an even, I'm going to make against this boss down here.
Okay.
He's got a little bit higher AC, but one of the feats I have gives me a +2 on my second attack if it's a different enemy.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that is 13 plus 2 is a 15. Plus 6 is 21, so that should be good.
Okay.
And that is 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. So that is Rider S. And 8 points of damage. So yeah, shoot, shoot, shoot. So we see a volley of your arrows go firing out. Scruffy.
Yes. So Scruffy's going to stay on the guy that was attacking Darren.
Okay.
That Darren's been attacking so far. I'm sorry, Felnor. And Scruffy rolled a 19.
So
That's
that'll
great.
hit.
Doing 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage.
Yeah.
So this wolf rider is in very bad shape, but they are going to go. Of course, I took the wretch off that had the initiative thing, and turn. Put that back up there. So Darren, we've got the rider that you're engaged with. This other rider is going to mount up and come at you as well. And then I've got a rider that is going to.
Did we skip me?
Oh, we did. We might be killing some people before they even go.
I just realized that my Ray of Frost spell actually did damage on a miss.
Oh, it does. Excellent.
Yeah,
Then
it
how
does
much?
damage equal. It did damage equal to your level, so it did 2 points of damage.
2 more points
to
of
that one.
damage. Okay, so we've got another wretch that has a total of 4 points of damage on him. Okay, let's have you do your attack. I apologize.
That's okay. And since this spell is at will, and I assume that means you can just keep casting it.
Bzzzt, bzzzt.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do that again.
Okay.
Oh, and this time, and we're at 1 on the escalation die.
We are at 1 on the escalation die.
That's an armor class 21
Oh yeah, that will hit.
or PD 21.
Yep. 3d6 cold damage.
That would be 17 points
17.
of damage.
So we see that ray of frost.
That's 1 point shy of max.
Yeah, that will spray across these two wretches, and they will freeze and drop, and it will actually kind of catch the tail end of that over on this other wretch over here, who takes a little bit of damage from that. So let's do then, as I do saying, the riders, and we'll have this rider come over here. Felnor, what is your AC?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused because it says 13 on my character sheet, but
Let's take a look. Let's look at the fighter box here. You should have.
so I should have base 16 with a shield and heavy armor, and let's see, middle of con, dex, and wisdom. That is not the average, correct?
It's whatever the middle number is. Yeah, it's not the average.
Oh, okay. So let's see, con, dex, wisdom. That would be 1.
Okay.
So
You should have that's
19.
going to be 19. Yeah.
Okay.
19 AC. All right. So this first wolf rider is going to take their pop at you. Rolling this plus 5. That will miss. The second wolf rider is going to try and fire its short bow at you. 13 plus 7 is you're going to take 4 points of damage
Okay.
as that bow shot hits you. Zalantha, this rider is going to ride over into melee to try and keep you from firing off more of those frost beam things.
I have an intercept skill, but I don't know if it works when I'm engaged.
Why don't you read me the text on the intercept skill, because sometimes you can roll to get out of
Okay.
melee and intercept.
Let's see. Oh, that's skilled intercept. Okay. Once per round is a free action. You can roll a normal save to intercept an enemy who is moving to attack one of your nearby allies. You can pop free from one enemy to move and intercept the attack.
Perfect.
If you are engaged with more than one enemy. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're engaged with one enemy. So go ahead and make a save, which means it's just a straight roll, and you want an 11 or better.
Oops. Where did it go?
Oh yeah, you got it.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that twice, but
That's okay. You rolled the same thing twice, so you're all good.
okay. So I will pop.
Yeah. So he comes running, and you get in the way, which means that he has to throw his attack at you. And let's see, he is rolling +7. And he will hit with that pointy spear. So you are going to take 7 points of damage. But he doesn't get any extra bonuses for what he rolled there. And it is your action then, Felnor.
Okay, let me just record that quick. Okay, yeah, well, I'm here, so I'll take a swing at this guy.
Okay. His AC is an 18. Escalation die is a 1.
Did I do that right?
Let's see. So you rolled a 7 +3 +2 +1 is what it shows.
Okay. Yep.
So you will miss, but you're going to do some miss damage to it.
Okay. And I'll use my carving a path thing again. I rolled a odd number. So.
Absolutely. So now 18 or better.
Yep.
Okay. That's the end of that round. We come back up to the top of the next round, and our escalation die is now a 2. Adwin.
Shoot at that boss. The ring. There we go. That one.
Okay. The one that's taking some hits. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to make this a double attack as well.
Okay.
Let's see.
So your first shot.
Yep. And it is an 8 + 4 is 12 plus the escalation dice would make it a 14 total. So miss.
So that will miss.
Yes.
But do you do miss damage with the bow?
It says I do, but I'm not sure where
Okay.
that comes
Well,
from.
let's read it as that. Okay.
So that would just be 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna
Second shot.
because that was I'm gonna do my second shot, and I'm gonna do it against this guy down here.
Perfect.
With Felnor. And that is an 18 on the die.
That'll hit.
And max damage of 12.
12. So that's that 20. So he is going to be staggered at this point from those shots. So again, we're launching off those arrows. These goblins don't know where all this is coming from. They're trying to engage. Zalantha.
Scruffy.
Oh, Scruffy. Yes, Scruffy first.
And Scruffy will be after the guy that Felnor was engaged with originally.
Okay.
And that's a 16. Plus the escalation die would be 18.
The wolf does not get the escalation die until you have a feat for it.
Has a feat.
Okay, there
to
you
get
go.
to that. Yeah.
Smart.
And 18 hits.
Yeah.
So that's 6 points of damage.
That will finish off that rider. He will drop from the combination of bow shots and the wolf there. Zalantha.
Debating. So there's this rider is still around.
That rider is still around and relatively untouched.
I'm going to fire a boreal beam of Cositus at that one.
Okay. PD is a 15 for them. Escalation die 2.
That is a escalation die 2. So that would have been a 20. So that would have been a 25.
So yeah, that definitely hits. Roll us 3d6 for damage.
9 points this time.
9 points. And that rider, this one is going to attempt to engage with Adwin. And this rider is going to engage with Felnor. And this wretch will come over here try and shoot a short bow shot. So Felnor, I'm going to start with this rider that's attacking you here. A 5 will not do it. He brings that spear up and essentially bounces off your defenses there. You've got that shield and that heavy armor. And then Adwin, this rider is going to attempt to rush up on you and see what it can do. What is your AC, Adwin?
I believe it's a 19 because I can't be using my shield and my bow at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
14 plus 7. So you are going to take 7 points of damage from that rider.
Okay.
And then the wretch gets a critical. Nat 20 for the wretch as he fires his short bow into your space for 8 points of damage, Adwin.
Okay.
Are you staggered yet? You're all good. All right. Then that brings us back to Felnor. Felnor, escalation die is a 2.
Okay. Yeah, I will attack the guy in front of me here.
Okay.
And oh, there it is. Sorry. Oh, that should be 15, but still.
Okay. So you mean 15 points of damage?
Oh no, it looks like I didn't properly add the escalation die.
Okay.
But let's see. Yeah, I get to increase my crit range again.
Yep. But you definitely hit, and that's 13 points of damage you're doing, right?
Oh, I thought I needed an 18. Oh, there it is. Okay, the hit was a 20. And it did. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no,
never mind.
Okay. We're getting used to it. So you do 13 points of damage, right?
Yep.
Looks like. And he is actually, since he's already staggered, that will drop that rider. So there's just the one rider up on Adwin and that one wretch that is left, which brings us to escalation die becomes a 3.
Oh, dude, am I able to like yell or something like that?
100%.
I'm gonna use my skill Fearsome Bodyguard and yell at them, give up or you're gonna get smashed.
And what does that affect? Is that just your background?
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, we'll resolve that test on your action.
Okay.
To see what happens with that, assuming there are goblins still around.
Okay.
Adwin, So here's
Yeah.
let me talk to you about this. So this guy has run up on you and engaged you in melee. So on the start of your round, you can either swap to a melee weapon, and that's a quick action, or you can try and disengage. And to disengage, you just have to make a save of 11 plus. And if you don't disengage, there's no cost.
Okay, so I could try to get disengage. If I fail, I could then swap to a weapon, a melee weapon, and attack that way. Let's do that. So let's try and disengage.
Okay.
So I rolled a 5. I rolled a 5.
So you're still in melee with this figure. Now you could pop free if you wanted to after that disengage roll, since you failed it, but I would get a free swack at you.
I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to swap to my melee. It's not nearly as good.
Sure, if you don't want to let me have a free strike at you, I'm like, whatever.
Okay, and let's see what it looks like.
Okay.
So that's going to be +6 plus the escalation die would be +9, and I got a 17 on the die.
Oh yeah, you're going to hit this rider. So roll your damage.
So that's 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. So we see you pop your bow back, draw your, is it a short blade, long blade? What do you mention it is?
Long sword, yeah.
Long sword, and slash across this rider there.
Oh, and then there's an additional, is it plus your level plus your strength bonus?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's an extra 4.
Okay.
Yep.
1. So yeah, you've slashed into your wolf.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is it the wolf on this rider, or is the wolf on this last wretch?
So I think the wolf is going to go to the last wretch, because
he did crit on you.
Yeah, he saw a good shot coming from that. And the wolf, Scruffy got a 17 on the die.
That's a dead dude, I'm assuming. Damage from Scruffy.
Damage from Scruffy is only 5.
Only 5. So that wretch is on his last legs right now. Zalantha, we have a rider and a wretch.
I think I will fire. I think I'll do yet another. I'll do yet another boreal beam. Right now, I'm not quite a one-trick pony, but I'm not pulling out my real special spells quite yet.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna try to freeze the rider again.
Okay.
Escalation die is 3, you said?
Escalation die is 3, and his PD is a 15.
Well, I got a 17, so
that'll hit.
Ooh, bad roll. Only 7 points.
7 points of damage. And
1 and a 1 and a 5.
At that, 21, so 28. He is also on his very much last legs. They are going to attempt to like pull back to get away. Felnor, why don't you make does it feel like a strength roll or a charisma roll for like trying to intimidate and get them under control?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe it would be strength.
Okay, let's do strength. Let's do strength. Okay. And you have a good background for this?
Fearsome bodyguard.
Okay, excellent. So strength plus your level, plus the fearsome bodyguard background.
16.
16. So let's say that the wretch, the least interesting of them, will scurry off into the woods, but this last wolf rider, badly injured, will kind of fall and kind of clutch his wounds and make the gesture for, we'll surrender. We'll leads that off. Let's take our first break here. And when we come back, we'll figure out how you're questioning them and how healing is done and all of that kind of stuff. Sound good? All right, take 10. So this rider, this goblin, again, that sort of half bandit armor is there. Now, let me talk about healing here briefly. Out of combat, you can choose to spend one of your recoveries to roll your recovery dice to get HP back. That's voluntary, unless at the end of a combat you're below half, in which case you have to spend a recovery to do that. And you recall recovery dice equal to your level. So if your recovery die is a D8, you'll roll 2D8 plus whatever the bonus is. Adwin, you're down about 15. I don't know if you want to spend a recovery and get your HP back.
Hey, that's an 8. And that's an 8.
Okay. So you will spend one of your recoveries.
Yeah.
You'll note that, and you'll go back up to top. Where are you at, Felnor? Oh, you're muted.
I took 11 damage, so I'll go ahead and take one.
Okay.
And the wizard successfully avoided melee.
Woohoo! Yes. Well, thanks to Felnor's intercept there. That's nice. Skilled intercept is sometimes hard to get off. It was a good place to use that. And Felnor, your D10s for your recovery, right?
D8s. It
D8s.
looks like. So I got 12. I'm back to full.
Okay. Excellent. So you'll look around. They don't see evidence of your uncle here, Felnor. You've got this rider tied up, and he looks panicked. But I think some leaning in, some questioning, and he'll say, the boss, he wanted to we're scouting around, we're looking for things, and we saw this guy with the goods, and we grabbed him, and we found out he was kind of a tanner and had the leather goods. So we thought maybe we could have him do some stuff, but maybe we could get some money from the locals. But then one of the scouts came back and told the boss that he'd found something deeper in the woods. So the boss went there, took the guy, took the prisoner along with the rest of the squad.
How big is the rest of the squad?
Maybe our numbers, a little bit more, but we're just sort of the grunts. Has the shaman with him, and a couple of bat riders as well.
The shaman, you say?
Yes, he can start fires.
And what
How
did
good
they
for him?
And what did they find? What did they go to check out?
We've been wandering around the woods here for a few weeks, and there's something weird about it. It messes with your head. The trails go weird, but we'd also been seeing things like in the distance, like in the early morning fog and such. And so we kind of kept looking around. The shaman said there was something here, but the scout came back and said he'd found like a place, like he said a place, like maybe a town.
Never heard of a town in these woods before.
And he'll kind of point down, further north, And actually, when he does kind of gesture that way and you look, the three of you can maybe a faint glow atop the woods in the very distance, like a little bit of white. It's clearly not firelight. It's clearly something else down there, down that way. That's where they went.
I think we have more work cut out for me then. Cut out for us then. So what do we do with these two? I say to my companions.
Well, the other one ran off, I think.
No, this one? Okay.
I
From behind.
Let him go.
I mean, I suppose we could just like climb to a tree and figure he'll eventually let himself out.
I mean, they have been harassing the town in the area.
He says, look, I'm just one guy. Okay, give me my wolf. I'll ride off and never hear from me again.
We have friends in this area. You know, the trees and the birds. We'll know if you don't keep your word.
He looks around at the tiefling casting frost, the weird fighter, now that he's had a close-up look at him, and you with your wolf, and he says, okay, honors. Finn, are you muted again?
I think you stole some of that armor, so maybe you should take that off and then go.
No, this is from the bandits that we were with before. That doesn't sound better now that I say it out loud.
Yeah.
I'll
Zelantha
I'll just take that off, okay? And we'll call it square.
Yeah, I don't know. Scruffy is hungry.
Why don't I just get going then? We'll just leave all that, and I'll just ride off into the sunrise, okay?
Well, I mean, if you're not going to need it, you should leave weapons behind, because all you need is like a knife and stuff to, like, you know, catch game. You don't need any weapons unless you're going to use them against someone.
Can I keep the knife and a bow
Sure.
and arrows?
I don't see any problem with that.
Okay. He grabs up his stuff, tosses the crappy armor to the ground. Though he looks back reluctantly at it, and he will take off. There is a thing where he keeps looking back like he's fully expecting to get an arrow in the back as he rides away.
I mean, that's what they would do, but
Exactly.
When he looks back the second time, I'm gonna do that thing where I stomp on the ground like I'm moving forward.
Oh yeah, that he'll put his feet to the wolf's side and speed up to get away faster at that point.
yeah, I was going to do something similar. I was going to start casting a spell and like have like, you know, glowing orbs around me, but it was just prestidigitation. But
Can it be both?
Yeah. So do you three want to head back to town to since it's so dark, or do you want to press on here, heading towards that light source, or something else?
go on.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I think we should press on. My uncle's in danger.
I really want to see what that light source is. Yeah.
That too.
So I think we'll see, and it's probably getting on like midnight by this point. We'll see the three of you move on into these woods. And I think all three of you will, within the first like 30, 40 minutes of walking, start to feel the strangeness of this place. Um, it's not that the woods themselves are enchanted, like the trees aren't, the ground isn't, but that you can feel that there's a lot of residual magic and wards and things sort of hanging around in the area. What do you think that feels like to you, Felnor? You're kind of a creature of magic. What do you think this feels? I mean, is it itchy? Do you hear things? What do you think that's like?
I think probably feels a little disoriented, and did I hear something or didn't I? And he'll probably ask Adwin a couple of times, like, is this normal? I'm no woods expert, but I don't think trees do that usually.
I think about half the time whenever you hear something, it's actually Adwin kind of mumbling and, kind of trying to, well, that doesn't, the birds didn't say anything. I don't know why maybe the trees are being weird. No, the trees are okay. So it's just mumbling and, no, it's not normal. There's something going on here, but yeah, certainly, the trees don't know anything about it.
Are we going the right way?
Moving toward the light.
Samantha, you're a wizard. Like, let's have you roll to see like what you can read or delve here as you pass along.
Would this
Like,
be
what's
okay.
your spellcasting stat?
My spellcasting stat is intelligence.
Okay, so be an intelligence roll, and do you have a
Okay.
good background?
I have two that might be. I have one that will definitely, and one that's a better skill rank that may or may. I do have magical prodigy.
Okay.
I am also a reformed cultist. I don't know if I would have heard this sort of thing in those circles. If not,
Interesting. Yeah, no, I'll let you do that. Let's
Do
let that fly. Yeah, let's have you roll.
and the modifiers, so submit. That is a 20.
20. I think as you're walking along and you're hearing these weird things and Felnor stopping and Adwin's mumbling and so on. And I think you will spot in a couple of places strategically placed rocks that have markers on them that are kind of overgrown. Like these are clearly old markers and things. And you're pretty sure, like, most of the time these shouldn't be visible. And it feels like these are wards from the Archmage, from the great icon, the Archmage. Like, these are old protections and blocks and things like that. And maybe they haven't been kept up as well as they ought to, because you're starting to see some decay on that.
Would it be possible? I mean, I don't know how long it would take to like infuse it with more magic or something like that to perform a ritual, or is that beyond the scope of what we can do?
It is that is the work of a coven and months, if not years, to do that, or the Archmage coming down and actually paying attention. But yeah, you'll have the sense that a great deal of what's going on here with this particular maze and the veil here is some kind of protections. And I think
can I tell, is this a ward trying to keep people out, or is this a ward trying to keep something in? Or can't we really tell?
To quote Felnor, can't it be both? I think that your sense is definitely that this is like maybe a vault of some kind. like a hiding away place, a store place of something to keep it away, but also to just generally keep people out. And you will come to the edge of these woods where it opens up and the ground kind of changes. You'll see more of those markers that indicate wardings, but then like the grass and the texture kind of changes, and you see this round wall of a city. And you can see buildings and towers inside of it, but most of it is covered by this white, semi-translucent, like glow. Like there's a bubble, a containment that is over this city, but you can see that part of that bubble, part of that containment has actually faded away. And there's a section of the wall that's exposed. And it looks like probably in going over the wall, it looks like there must be a section of the city that's exposed and not covered by this. But the rest of the city seems to be covered and kind of frozen in place. And I think the other thing you'll see is you'll probably see some ropes, like somebody has set up some climbing things to go over that sort of exposed portion of the wall.
I think that goblin party is over there, and I think we should follow them.
And I think, yeah. And I think I walk over into the woods a little bit and I talk to like a bird or a squirrel or something. And then I come back and say, everyone knows, it'll be fine now.
Do you want to use like an icon boon? Do you have one of those to get an answer or find something out or get more information?
My intention was just for flavor, but
Okay.
I can certainly do one of those things.
Do you have a boon from the High Druid right now?
I do.
Do you want to spend that?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like when you kind of call on that power?
It doesn't really look like much different from what we've seen, as we go towards, mumbling, talking to the trees. It just seems like I'm out of my brains. But I think like off camera, we see her kind of walk over to the tree and talk a little bit and then come back and say everything's fine. Off camera, at some later point, we see like a squirrel come up with like a note and very flowing handwritten, things back at the town. There is, we've taken care of the brigands, we're following the rest of the group, we're still trying to find the uncle, just basically filling them in.
And I think you will see as you kind of step over there will be, again, that inky shadow. And we see maybe like a shadowy badger this time kind of appear as you invoke, as one of these elders comes to bear to you answers. And it will say, this is not the High Druid's place. It is, as you can see, the place of the Archmage, the place of the Emperor and other things. It is where old things from ages past have been locked away. That, and kind of like will turn and point, is the city of the Mad Jester. He was an icon in the Ninth Age, but he was mad. And forces gathered and put him down. And that is his place sealed away. The Jester itself is long gone. But there are leaks now. Does that help you?
It might. Is the jester still in there?
No, the jester is gone. The jester's people are there, frozen away.
So that's the concern, is that the jester's people might escape from this deteriorating prison.
No one knows how icons are made, truly. No one knows if they can be reborn. People fear what was present and what was lost in the last ages.
If you don't mind, I think that everybody in the party could hear this. The badger was out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever Adwin comes back, you know, she's kind of talking a little bit to herself back and forth. And I don't think the rest of the party is really sure if there was anyone else she was talking to out there, or if it was just her talking to herself in a weird voice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that.
Zalantha does not bat an eye at that. She just figures that Adwin is doing some kind of like mystical communing with nature, which is more or less what she's doing, but
so you've got this wall. The goblins have clearly climbed over into this slightly exposed section of the city. How do you want to play this? Are there any abilities you want to use? Do you want to just climb over and follow them? Do you want to lay in wait? How do you want to handle this? Zalantha?
Zalantha suggests I think we should just climb on over as well and follow them, because I don't want to know what kind of nonsense goblins would be doing, you know, in a city like this. Out of character.
Mhm.
Steve, did Edwin share that information that you
That's right,
gleaned
yes.
with the rest of us, or okay?
Yeah.
If this is the city of the Mad Jester, which has been locked away for the past 4 ages, I hesitate to think what goblins could do or find or release in there, or release unto the world. I think we absolutely need to go after them and stop them, and also to rescue my uncle.
I agree. I think we need to make sure that we find your uncle, but I think we should follow the wall until we find an opening, because Scruffy's not climbing the wall.
Unfortunately, this may be the only part of the area that's not covered by that barrier.
Ah.
I can maybe climb and carry Scruffy.
So be it.
Scruffy likes me.
I was looking to see if I had a utility spell that might work here, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't get levitate until I get 3rd level spells.
I think Felnor could probably pick Scruffy up if you can keep him calm, Adwin.
I'm sure it'll just make it more difficult. Yes.
I was thinking maybe also like Felnor thinks Scruffy likes him at least more than Scruffy does. And his armor kind of saves him in this case, where he's like, oh, you're playing, and the wolf is like chewing on his like let go of me, chewing on his arm. And I don't know.
I like that, a little bit of gnaw going on there. So you can make sure these ropes are secure. You can climb up the wall, and you'll see this like segment, like maybe a pie-shaped kind of segment of several blocks of the city, and it goes in a few blocks that doesn't have this barrier over it. And that's sort of very visible, and you'll lower yourselves down, and you will see that there are people here, and they are frozen in some kind of crystal, perhaps an inch or two thick. It lies over them, but once you kind of hit the ground and start moving along, you will see that there's a populace that was clearly caught up in whatever magic locked these people away. And moving your way down this avenue, kind of looking around, you can see like part of a few buildings are exposed, maybe a cart, anything that's living, like maybe even a horse, is covered by this barrier thing. And in the dust and the dirt here that's been exposed, you can see goblin tracks. You'll go down a couple of blocks and you will see that there is, like, kind of opens up into what maybe was a market. Like there are a couple of avenues off from here. It's a little bit more open air. You can see that there are like goods tables and things where maybe there was some stuff on them that's there, that's kind of frozen in place, bread, pies, goods like that, those seem to not have rotted. They're around in places. You'll see that there are more of these people, like clearly merchants that were here, that are covered with this crystal. And you will also see, sort of across the middle of this marketplace, there's a splattering of blood everywhere. Blood is splattered. It's on some of these crystal things. It's on the stonework here. You'll see bits and pieces of goblin strewn about the place. What do you do, Felnor?
That blood is not, that stuff's not frozen like the other stuff. And it looks like a goblin exploded. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Do you guys understand this?
Zalantha?
That's disturbing. Yeah, I fear that the goblins may have awoken some kind of guardian that was far more than a match for them. I think we need to find out whatever that is and make sure it doesn't escape to wreak havoc in the rest of the world.
In the dusty tracks, could we tell if there was, a human among them, or someone who was reluctant, or?
Let's have you make a wisdom check.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have, plus any background that's appropriate for reading tracks?
Tracker. Yeah. Tracker
Yeah.
scout.
Okay.
Let's see, 8 plus wisdom is 9 plus 3 for the tracker is 12. Do you add your level?
Yes.
So 14.
So I think you will definitely see some human tracks around here. And they kind of continue a little bit past the market, though you're kind of being a little more cautious before you proceed further. Maybe they're just past here, or because you're certainly not seeing human gib here. This is like multiple goblins blown up, torn apart here. But you suspect you're not seeing any human bits, and you suspect that at least the human and maybe some of these goblins went on past here. I think with a 14, like with some haste.
So something attacked them and they ran away.
Yeah. So is it stealing a pie if it's been frozen like that for a long time? And do you think the pies make people explode?
Or something's here guarding against thieves.
Okay. What
Felnor
about
might just be
question
saying he's hungry.
one? No, you answered question 2. That's good. But what about 1?
Would it be considered stealing? Well, if I would be hesitant to put that to the test. I don't
Okay.
know, but
Okay.
I
No,
think the dangers of getting blown up outweigh the risks of eating some delicious millennia old pie.
yeah. You two are smart. Okay, I get it.
So the three of you want to kind of cautiously proceed through?
I think that's a yes. At least Zalantha does.
You all will start moving along, kind of trying not to put your boots in too much goblin gristle. And as you are walking along there, Felnor, you see one of the pies start to shake.
So he immediately just points at it like exploding pie.
And you all will see this pie starting to shake. And then you'll hear the sound from around you. And you will see more of these pies shaking. And I think that's the moment at which the side of the pie tears open to expose cherry filling and sharp teeth as these pie mimics come to life. So I'm going to grab some pie mimics and put them on the table here. As you are, I'm going to move you to a different locale, put some pie mimics out.
I don't think Felnor is going to recover from this.
Food is ruined forever.
It's like when I got food poisoning from a pot pie. I can't have a pot pie anymore.
The time I drank too much scotch and I can't stomach scotch anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't stomach scotch for years. I've gotten over it.
Well, I got salmonella from Wendy's, so you know,
Oof.
but at least it wasn't ruining scotch.
So I'm going to remove the rider and remove the wretch. And I'm going to add turn for the pie mimic and add turn for the high pie. The prize pie. Let me actually give it a name here. You can tell that this is the Mad Gestures City because the pies are mimics. So let's have everybody roll initiative.
That was a good roll. I got an 18 on the die.
Good. What did you get, Felnor?
It's like a
16?
16.
Yep, sorry, my
Oh, that's-
issue for a second with my token not being selected.
And oh, why is it doing double? I'm going to close out one of those. And I'm going to close out. And you got a 22, Zalantha? And what
Yes.
did you get, Adwin? 14. Okay.
16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you add the level.
All right. Descending. So these pies explode out. You see that most of them look like your ordinary cherry, blackberry, blueberry, but there are definitely these two pies that are larger, like have blue ribbons on them, that will tear open. And you can see most of them look hungry, and they will push out tendrils, like baked tendrils that they will use to kind of rush themselves forward at you all. Zalantha, what do you want to do?
Well, I hope this is going to work. I hope this is going to work on. I hope this is going to work on mimics. But I am going to cast. I'm going to cast the spell Stygian Apparition, which does psychic damage. It's color spray,
Okay.
but it's showing visions. It's showing those in the effect, like horribly disturbing visions of the underworld. Yes, I went hard. Yes, I went hard on the demon theme.
Sure. Is that versus PD or MD?
Versus MD.
Okay. Do you want to attack the blue ribbon prize winning mimics or the regular?
It is a close quarters. This is a close quarters area spell, so I should be able to hit. So I'm gonna cast it on these two. I'm gonna cast it on these two pies that are in front of me.
Okay.
So this will catch both of them in the in the effect.
Let's have you roll that.
And no escalation die yet.
No escalation die yet.
That's a 15 versus MD.
And that will just hit. So let's go ahead and have you roll 2d8 psychic damage twice.
4 on the first one.
Okay.
And 5 on the other one.
Okay.
If they have 10 hit points or fewer, they are weakened.
Yes. So one of these pies is completely destroyed by that, and the other one is weakened. I'll put a little face on him to show that he's weakened. So you let loose with the spray at the two pies that are kind of rising up off those tables and coming at you, and one of them just blows up, and the other one is reeling from that.
I have a question. If I could interrupt, I have a question on game mechanics for this spell. The spell is a cyclic spell, and it says, and its usage is once per battle or at will when the escalation die is even. So that means when I cast it when the escalation die is even, I can keep casting it.
Yeah, you can cast it again when the escalation die is even.
That's what it meant. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And I think 0 counts as even for purposes of that.
Okay.
All right. Felnor, what are you doing?
Yeah, so Felnor is going to yell, "Not strawberry rhubarb pie," and attack this red pie.
Okay. Let us have you roll to hit.
Let's see, 19, or I'm sorry, 16 for the attack roll.
16. So that is going to miss it.
Okay.
But you will do miss damage to it.
Okay. And let's see here. I rolled. It looks like I rolled an 11, so I will do the carving and opening.
Perfect. And that brings us to Adwin.
And I think I'm going to shoot at this little pie, the little red one over here behind Felnor.
And here's the thing with those mooks. You don't even have to tell me I'm targeting X, Y, or Z of those mooks. You just attack the mook group, and you can kill multiples.
Okay, so I rolled a 2, so I
Okay,
assume that's a miss.
that is a
Um,
miss.
But since it's even, I get to roll again, and I rolled a 4, so I assume that's a miss.
That is a miss.
So let me check with Scruffy. Scruffy's going to go up and try and attack one of the mooks, and rolled a 3. So, so on my ranged attacks, though, I get miss damage, which would
Yeah.
be 2 each. Yeah.
So 4 points of damage, plus the damage that was already done to the one that Zalantha was fighting will finish that one off.
Good.
So arrows will go out and will strike at them. We are going to have, let's see, I think we're going to have, we've got one close to Zalantha there. Got a couple there. And I think this prize pie will move over. Let's see. So I'm going to, before I go too much further, Felnor, this other prize winning pie is going to attempt to get to Adwin. Do you want to try your skilled intercept?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how tough she is, so
So you may roll, because you get 2 on you, you have to roll a 12 or better to disengage.
nope.
Nope, you'll not be able to.
Sorry.
Fine.
Okay, so let's see. So I've got 2 prize winning pies. What is your AC, Adwin? I'm sorry, I didn't
19.
catch that. 19.
19.
One of the pies will give you a toothsome nip for 4 points of damage. And then the prize winning pie will miss completely because it is a very sad pie. And will miss. And then on you, Zalantha, what is your AC?
Where is that? 13.
13. So that pie will nip you for 4 points.
I am going to cast Mystical Barrier of Force, which is shield.
Okay.
So it must re-roll the attack.
It will miss on the reroll.
Yay.
And then what, your AC is a 19, Felnor? Okay. So that will miss. And that will hit. So you're going to take 4 points of damage. These things kind of rush up on you. You have the sense that there must have been more of them. The goblins dealt with a few of them, but they were ravaged by these mimics in short order. Clearly not expecting this, whereas you all were a little more cautious and prepared. Escalation die becomes 1. Zalantha.
I have a question about game mechanics.
Yes.
And that is, if you're engaged in melee, can you throw ranged spells or not?
Only if this range spell is a close quarter spell. If it says it's a close quarters, you can do that. But your other option is, if it's a range spell, you can try and disengage. And if you don't make the disengage, there's no harm, no foul.
Okay. How does one disengage?
One rolls a d20 and tries to get an 11 or better. Just flat.
Okay.
That's all you do.
Flat. Okay, so it's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, there are magic
Okay.
items like boots that will help you with that.
Okay, I will attempt to disengage because I don't have another good close. I mean, my color spray is a close quarter spell, but if I cast it again, that's going to count as once per battle. I would
Yep.
assume, and I won't be able to cast it again. So in that case, I'm going to attempt to disengage. Nope.
You will not disengage. Now, as mentioned before, you can still opt to disengage, but you'll let me get a nip at you.
Yeah, what the hell?
Okay.
I'll still do it. That way
Okay.
that way I'll be able to try to blast more of these guys.
It will, as you pull away, kind of exposing yourself, it will nip you for 4 points.
Okay.
And then you're at range, so you can attack it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go back to Boreal Beam.
Hey.
Where
Their PD
escalation?
is escalation die is a 1. Their PD is just an 11.
I got an 11.
Got an 11, just barely on that. 3d6 damage though.
8 points of damage.
So you will absolutely frost over, and this pie will suffer freezer burn and extinguish itself, and a little bit of that frost will carry over on this next pie mimic. Felnor.
Okay, swinging away. Let's see.
Prize pie or mimic?
Oh,
mimicky pie.
The prize pie has made me angry.
Absolutely. AC is 17.
Oops, why can't I change that? Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. You will hit it. You rolled an 18. Nice. For 12 points of damage, that will stagger it.
Okay.
So I'll put the little staggery symbol there on it as you smash into it with your battle axe and you carve yourself a piece. And you rolled an 18. So are you triggering carbon opening?
Oh, that is on. Well, you know what? Why not? I'm going to use my species ability to lower the die roll by 1. So I think a 23 would still hit, and then
yeah,
it triggers carbon opening.
Perfect. Absolutely. So you've got that. So now your range is a 18, 19, 20. Adwin.
So I'm going to try to disengage. So
Okay.
that would be against the 14?
11, 12, 13.
13. Okay. And I rolled a 10. So in that case, I don't think it's safe enough for me to step back.
Probably not.
So I'm going to swap to my sword and try and attack one of the mooks.
Okay.
And get it off of me.
AC is a 17, and you've got an escalation die of 1.
No, I rolled a 5. That did not work.
Okay.
And then Scruffy. And Scruffy rolls a 5 as well. No.
We see why you have attempted to moderate your stuff. You still will do 2 points.
Yes.
From the miss damage. So you will chop into them a little bit. I've got 2 pie mimics that are going to take nips at you again. One of them will hit you for 4 points of damage. The bigger pie mimic, the prize winning pie mimic, will also hit you, and this time for 5 points of damage.
Okay.
So you are dying the death of 1,000 pie bites. And then on you, Felnor, little pie mimic will miss. Big pie mimic will hit for 5 points. And it will spray you with a fine custard when it does that. And you can see when it does that, that seems to drive the other pie mimics into a frenzy. Escalation die is now a 2, and it is back to Zalantha. You are, though, muted.
Staying where I am, I am going to cast a different spell.
What?
I am going to cast at the pie mimic that's fighting Adwin.
Absolutely.
I am going to cast Jubilix Caustic Effluvia.
Lovely. Awesome.
So she casts a spell, and then like above the head of the or like right above the mimic, this like again this like demonic sigil appears. I'm kind of imagining like that round thing that that Doctor Strange does in the Marvel movies, like directly above its head, and like a gate opens, and out of it pours this like disgusting reeking like yellow green sickly goo pours
Ugh.
out, and then and then the gate shuts. It's Acid Arrow.
Perfect. Is this versus PD?
This is versus PD.
11 is their PD.
Okay, and we are escalation die is 1.
2.
Oh, it's 2. Okay, well that would be a 26 then.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 25 because I only give it 1. So I think that's a hit.
Yeah, 4d10 acid damage and 5 ongoing acid damage.
Yep. And this is a daily spell. This is a one and done spell.
Oh.
So it was so it does 22 points of damage plus 5 ongoing acid damage.
This acid pours down on this prize-winning pie, and there is a shriek of the damned as this mimic goes up, as it boils over like a pie left in the oven too long, where the crust gives and then it starts to caramelize, and then it will flop over, and like red custard will pour out over the ground from it. It is dead. Felnor. Mute.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so let's see, did my swing go through?
Not yet.
Oh, there we go. There. Okay, so yeah, so I got a 21, but I only did 7 damage.
7 damage. It is on its last baked leg there as you do that. Adwin.
I'm going to try to disengage. I rolled an 8.
Okay.
So that I'm going to stay on my long sword and attack one of the mooks, and rolled a 7. So that's not going to hit.
That's not going to hit.
Because
and-
that would be
So their
13 plus 3. The escalation die is at a 3.
Yep.
So
AC is a 17 on these.
okay, so just missed. And then Scruffy rolled a nat 1. Yay!
Okay. You do enough with between all of the missed damage to finish off one of these.
Okay, missed damage. Yay!
So this last pie will make a desperate bite for you, and will hit you for 4. And then the other mook pie mimic on Felnor will miss, and the big pie mimic will miss, even though they have bonuses from a custard frenzy. They will still miss with that. Escalation die is a 4. Zalantha.
I'm going to throw a beam of cold at the mooks.
Okay. PD is 11.
Escalation die is 4. So that's a 15.
Ooh, that'll hit. Roll your damage.
11 points of damage.
That is enough to finish off these last 2 mooks there. Essentially, frost goes across, they'll crack open, freeze, got chunks of frozen pie there. Felnor.
Okay, let's see.
Oh yeah.
25.
And even with just the 8 points of damage, that is still enough to finish this pie off as you cleave it in twain. And it smells awful here. You get this weird mimic custard and blood and pie and that strawberry rhubarb and
the demonic acid.
Demonic acid and goblin blood and all of that. The stench here is abysmal. And I think we see you all kind of like looking around, and you will see from the far end of the street, you'll see this goblin step kind of out from around a set of fallen over tables, and he kind of raises up his hands and gestures back, and you'll see this human get up with him. And Zalantha, you'll see your uncle, and you see this goblin shaman like raising his hands like everything's good.
Has my uncle looked in my direction yet, or?
Yeah, but it's nighttime and there's not much light around here, so he's not going to recognize you.
I'm going to go ahead and cast ideal visualization of the self.
Okay.
I.e. disguise self, and I'm going to take the option to make myself look like myself but human.
Okay.
To to deal with my uncle, and this is going to last an hour.
Okay. The shaman says, we're all, see, he'll vouch, saved him, saved him. So he'll vouch for me, won't you? And your uncle's like, yes, this little guy did save me from the pies, but he's also the asshole that dragged me into this. Bygones is all bygones. Shall we say? Let the bygones equal the bygones. Shall we say that? You're all very quiet adventurer types. Perhaps answering me. Like I could be killed now.
I look suspiciously at the goblin, and then I look at my friends. I shrug and I say, "For now." And I'm going to address my uncle by his like, Mr. Fellwind, are you all right?
Zalantha?
You recognized me. Yes, uncle, it is me.
And he'll kind of come forward, and he's like, what are you doing in the valley?
Frankly, I came to the valley to pay my respects to my father's passing. But then we heard you were captured. Then my friends and I heard you were captured, so we came looking for you.
Well, thank you. And he looks at the two of you, at Adwin, at Fellner. Thank you.
I do quick introductions.
He'll walk over towards you. The shaman follows. He'll notice the shaman has a bag over his shoulder too.
Of course.
And he says, "Thank you all for saving me. This place is unpleasant. We should get out of here and get back to town."
I would agree. This place was locked. This place was locked away. This place was apparently locked away by magic for a long time, because it is a bad place.
Oh, I don't know for magic, and I've never heard of this place before. I mean, I've been here in the woods before when I was younger, but I've never seen anything like this.
We should see if we can lock this place away again. We don't want anyone else coming here. So we should send your uncle away. and make sure he makes it home safely.
I was going to say, I think we should escort him home, especially, and I look at the shaman.
That makes sense.
So it's like, oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm all good. He says, look, I was just following along. My boss got eaten by a best in show pie. I'm just living my best life.
Did you? I'll talk to the uncle. Did you see the goblin boss get killed by a pie, or is he lying?
The uncle kind of shudders. Yeah, it was up on a shelf, and it leapt off, and it landed like the whole mouth over his head, and it came off the whole thing, and then the body was just dancing. I really want to get home.
I think we all do. And let's. I think it might be. I think it's time to leave.
What's in the
If I
bag?
turn to
Treasure.
Can I turn to the other two?
Am I going to have
treasure did you loot from this bizarre place?
I found some trinkets in a chest. Put them in my bag.
I think you better drop it. I think pretty much everything in here is cursed. You saw the pies, right?
Cursed things go for money too.
All right. You dump that bag out right now. I'm done with you.
Yep. He'll pour out, and he pours out essentially a pair of boots, a belt, and a shiny ring onto the ground.
Okay, Zalantha, and I forgot Zalantha's uncle. Is that stuff from town? Is any of that from town?
Or is this stuff from here?
No, the shaman found it in in a dresser when we were hiding.
Okay. Well, he's probably a liar, so I had to check. All right, Goblin, you put that on your head. Put that bag on your head. You're coming with us.
Oh.
You made me go to a place where pie got ruined, so you shut up. You put that bag on your head. And you do what we tell you.
Fair enough. And he will take the bag and put it over his head loosely so he can breathe.
I've got a
yes.
I've got a question about game mechanics.
Sure.
Is there anything? Is there anything like detect magic in 13th Age that wizards can just like tell when things are magical, or how
I think you can
work?
tell that these are magic items. Yes.
I can tell that these are indeed magic items.
Yes, and if you pick them up, you can tell what they do. And I'm not going to drop curse magic items on you here. That is a GM promise for at this moment, because that would be truly crappy.
I am going. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and examine them and see what they are.
And I will tell you what you have found here if you wish to take them.
If I don't think they're dangerous, then yes, I think we'll take them.
All right. So the belt itself is a Blademaster's belt. It increases your recoveries by 1. And it also gives you a +2 bonus to recharge rolls for something that you store in it. So if you have a magic item that has a recharge roll, you store it in the belt, it will give you a +2 to rolls for that. So it's a useful item in the future. The boots give a +1 bonus to disengage checks, and a +4 bonus to walk quietly.
I could use that.
And the
And the ring.
ring is a ring of defense. It has a recharge of 6+, meaning that after you use it, after the fight, you can roll and see if it recharges. When you activate it, you can prevent 10 points of damage done to you.
Those are pretty cool items.
Shaman says, is that pretty good stuff?
Sure is.
Great. All right. Well, maybe we can just walk back towards the town. Maybe somebody could hold my hand since I've got this bag over my head.
Yeah, we'll guide the goblin. We won't leave. I think leaving him in this place is probably not good for anybody.
And we'll see you gather yourselves up, haul yourselves over the wall, and kind of start moving back through the woods. Again, you get that strange feeling. It's probably getting on a little bit towards dawn as you're heading back. And we'll see you come out. The goblin shaman is kind of just following along with you here. And as you get out towards the Vake Fort and moving out towards Crown Hill and Appleton, you'll realize that the sky is darkening. And it very quickly goes from kind of gray to silver to black, and then back to a kind of silver. And you realize that it's kind of roiling over this whole area. And you'll start to see flashes. Like, are there creatures up in those clouds fighting? Like there's like maybe a crackle of lightning, a flash of rainbow, and some things up there in the sky like battling. And you can see out in Appleton and Crown Hill, people are coming out of their houses, kind of looking up because there's this rumbling sound. And then there is this shriek, like the sky is ripping open. And you will see something form in the air. And you will realize that it looks like is it a tower? Is it a castle? Is it a city? It's hard to tell. Crystalline, beautiful, up there above the valley. And then it begins to plummet to the earth. And that is where we're going to take up next time, with this city crashing into the valley. Everyone can take an incremental advance. And that's where we'll start. Does that sound okay for everybody? We will hold off on Stars and Wishes, just because that'll give me a little bit of chance to catch my breath between this and the seminar coming up in about half an hour. But we will do that next time. Anybody have any questions, anything about rules or anything you want to go over?
I guess.
No, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this wasn't a rules thing. I was just gonna pose, like, the three of us can like figure out via email like who gets what magic items.
Sure, and I'll make sure I write it all out so everybody has, so we can divvy those out.
One rules question that I had
Yeah.
was, does my animal companion do damage on a miss? I
I-
didn't see that anywhere.
I think there's a feat to
Ah.
have it do damage on a miss. I don't think it does that naturally.
Perfect. That makes sense.
Darren?
I had just one question.
Sure.
I did an RSVP for this seminar
Mhm.
after this.
Oh, yeah, you can show up.
Where do I find the link?
Oh, if you actually go to the event, there's the Zoom link should be there.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can find it there and join up. I think we're going to kind of limit it to maybe 12 or 14 people, but I don't think we're going to have that many. So I wouldn't particularly worry about that.
Oh, okay. I need to talk to my wife first anyway. But,
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I'm going to stop the recording